Yes. So now we're all set up. Uh, yeah, perfect. I hope you feel better after the hospital.
Yeah, I do feel better. I just don't have a lot of energy at the moment. So
Yeah, I totally understand. I went to Russia to get my surgery. So I totally understand you, and I don't know how do you feel, but whenever I feel something like temperature or something, I'm like, oh, am I dying? Am I dying? So
well, my problem is I've got an underlying chronic health condition anyway, uh,
uh-huh.
and I tend to put everything down to that. You
Mm.
know, everything that happens, oh, it's just my condition. It's just my condition. Um, and up until the point that I was taken into hospital by ambulance, I was still saying, "Oh, this is my condition," but it wasn't. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah,
What?
I tend to
Mhm.
go the opposite way and don't
Mhm.
react to anything. Yeah, which isn't great, but it's fine. It's fine.
What I realized for the past weeks that the most important thing in life is health.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
yeah, I mean everything is like to have everything is okay, but to have health is necessity. So I wish you Joyce to feel better.
Thank you. I think the problem is until you don't have your health, you don't appreciate it. So
Yes,
it's only when something goes wrong and that you think, oh, well, I wish I was fine. But when you're fine, you don't think about it.
yes,
So,
I
yeah.
totally understand. How all this? So you're doing business as well, and how does it affect uh, your like professional side? How like all these health situations affect your work?
Well, actually, that was why I became self employed because I used to work in the corporate world and then I had to leave through ill health. So if it wasn't for the fact that I got sick,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be running my own business now.
Oh
Uh,
wow, interesting.
so
Uh-huh.
actually, it's helped me.
Mm.
Um, and at the moment, it's also another adjustment uh,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't have the stamina to work long, silly hours, which you're tempted to do when you run your own business. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you're tempted to just keep going because if I go an extra hour, I might pick up another client, and so it goes. But right at the moment, I'm at the stage where I can't do that. So I'm working, maybe a third of the number of
Mm-hmm.
hours that I did do. And funnily enough, the business isn't suffering, which just goes to show that sometimes we put additional pressure on ourselves that we don't actually need to go.
Mm.
So probably for the second time in a few years, I've realized that getting sick has done me a favor.
That's really interesting. Um, but so you work alone, or do you have like assistants or
No,
some?
I work on my own. My daughter does all my posting on social media because I don't get all that stuff. A bit of a technophobe. But I write the posts and she just posts them and does whatever. So basically, it's just me,
Mm-hmm.
which was a problem when I ended up in hospital. But I've got an amazing business coach who jumped right in with her assistant to help me do everything that I had to do to keep the business ticking over. Um,
Wow.
and I think it's like everything, it's only when something happens that you realize who's there for you.
Yes,
Uh,
completely true.
and they've been great, but yeah, it does make you think about if you're a one-man band and something happens, what happens to the business. I've just been lucky that I've had the right people round about me. Um, but in the current climate of business and everywhere it is, you can't really afford to take time out because
No,
people forget about you. So
completely
very,
true.
very easily. So if you take time off and you're not posting and you're not visible, people just forget who you are. So it's been a real benefit having people around me that can keep at least the outward appearance that everything's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Although I'm pretty open with my audiences and my clients, so they know what's been going on, and they know why I need to work reduced hours and stuff, and everybody's quite happy with that.
Good. So about social media, so as you said, when we are not present, like for example, we're sick or we're on annual leave, and as we have this very small businesses at the moment, we'll see how it will go, right? But at the moment, kind of to show presence in social media, to show presence online is extremely important. It's kind of vital part of the business. It's basically what we say to all our clients, because we do digital marketing for companies, for startups like yours and mine. Basically, if you're not present online, people, as you said, completely true, people forget about you. You're not, you basically, your business does not exist. And especially during this like COVID situation, what we see that even businesses which initially were established in real life, like small shops, they all moved now to online platforms. And it's, for some businesses, it's even a great opportunity. They realized, oh my gosh, there are so many clients online. They are much easier than maintain offices, some sales platforms, something like that. So we see the changes in this environment, and I'm very happy that you mention it, because I always trying to explain that it's very important to be online. It's very important to be online, and people are like, yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons why where one-man bands, you know, even when they're on holiday, they're working.
True.
Because they, you know, oh, I've got to be online, I've got to respond to things, I've got to be seen to be involved. And yeah, it's hard, but I think that the idea is it's not going to be like that forever. You know, and
Just
everybody hopes that you can get to the stage where you will be able to employ people to do things for you, and that makes life easier. But it's just at the beginning, it's very hard.
just I was wondering if you can tell the so we know now that kind of the initial idea of self-employment and starting your own business was came from your health condition and from this opportunity kind of to manage your time on your own. But what exactly you do, how you help people, who's your target audience?
Okay, well, I'm a life coach, and I work specifically with women over 40.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason for that stems back to when I first became unemployed and was trying to work out what to do. And I had a horrendous year where lots of things happened, including my dad passing away, my daughter being off to university, being ill, you know, so it was just really bad. And I was looking for someone to hold my hand. It's a bit like going on a diet. You know what you should do, but unless you've got a bit of accountability there, it doesn't always happen. And I was looking for someone to help, but everyone that was out there was half my age and had no life experience. And I wanted someone that got where I was coming from, grown up kids, you know, that whole thing. And I suddenly realized that there was a gap in the market.
Mm-hmm.
So that was why I picked the niche that I have. But the other thing is that so many women of that age have spent all their life, you know, looking after the house, doing the shopping, looking after their partner, looking after the kids, looking after elderly relatives, and they don't think about themselves. They don't think about what they want. I mean, I speak to people and say, okay, what's on your bucket list? And they're like, gave my bucket list up 30 years ago because of the kids and this and that and the next thing. So I'm working with these women to say, look, you can have purpose and you can have direction. You're never too old. I mean, I was 54 when I started my first business, and that just proves that age isn't a barrier. But there comes a time when you need to be a little bit selfish and think of yourself. And that can be for health reasons, it can just be for your own sanity. I tend to find that, you know, women whose kids have gone off to university are suddenly thinking, I've got all this time on my hands. You know, I'm not being the taxi that runs them here, there, and everywhere. Hubby's still out at work doing his own thing. And it's like, what am I going to do? So I work with women and help them find that purpose. I also work with women who are feeling overwhelmed. And a lot of that is business owners like myself who are just trying to do everything. You know, they're still trying to run the house and maybe look after the kids and are scared not to be on the laptop 12 hours a day in case they miss a client. And, you know, it's about helping women understand how to manage their time and how to be a bit more efficient so that they are not faced with all this overwhelm that they need. So women come to me for a number of different reasons, and not all of my clients, to be fair, are over 40. But they still are having the same issues. You know, like during lockdown, I had a client who was a single mum with 2 kids in a flat, and she was going crazy because she couldn't escape from it. So simply having someone who was there, who would listen to her, who could give her tips to help out, made all of the difference. But I also work with charities. I worked with a women's charity who help women get back into the workplace. A lot of these women are coming from really horrific backgrounds. And I do confidence training to help them with confidence about going for interviews in the first place, and then about how to behave and react in the office, giving them the confidence to speak up for themselves. And so I do a lot of that kind of work. I've also do work with, and I've just done a session recently with a major UK bank about menopause and about the impact that the menopause can have in people, you know, women generally, but also how that relates to the workplace, and how that should be managed from both sides. You know, over just about half the women who take time off because of the menopause won't admit that that's the reason, because they don't want to be judged, or they're embarrassed because their boss is a guy and they don't want to have to say to him, you know, what it's all about. So it's these kind of issues that I work with on a day-to-day basis. And I've got 3 different ways of working with women. I've got self-study modules, which they can just go on to my website and download, and they can work through things themselves. And that covers things like health and confidence and loneliness, which is another big thing, relationships in terms of dealing with step families, which is also very common at the moment. I do group coachings, so I will have confidence trainings and health, talk about the menopause, help women through that. And I do one-to-one coaching as well.
I think you mentioned a very important topic about the stamina we have on topics such as menopause, such as women's health, such as taking days off due to some like specifically women's related health problems and complications. I think it's extremely important to talk about it aloud, and there shouldn't be situation when a woman is scared or embarrassed to say to the boss, who is a guy, that she needs to stay home because she feels under the weather due to a period or menopause or any related kind of conditions. So I myself, I feel very deeply about it, and I admire what you're doing, and I hope more people can have this kind of confidence to stand up for themselves.
It's difficult because even, you know, with their best friends, a number of women, you know, there's certain symptoms and certain things that happen in the menopause that they're not comfortable sharing, even with their friends. So to go into the workplace, and it's not just speaking to guys about it, it's women speaking to managers who are younger than them or who have not hit menopause age, who think it's a joke. And it's a really serious time in women's lives and can greatly affect their life, no matter what they're doing. So yeah, I mean, it's really important that women talk out about these things and have these honest conversations. But it's hard sometimes for women, and that's why I try and give them tips to help them get that confidence and to work their way through it. Ironically, sorry, I was going to say ironically, one of the ways of explaining it is to take them through how a man's brain would work in those situations.
That's very, how would you explain it?
Well, the difference between men and women, and I obviously I do a lot of psychology stuff, but men's brain is full of lots of little boxes. Okay, so they have a work box, and that work box comes out and they go to work and they don't think of anything else. But when they go home and they're dealing with the kids, the work box goes back in and the family box comes out, or the football box comes out because they want to go and play football or watch football, or so they deal with one box at a time. Whereas women, it's like having lots of different colours of wool all tangled together because we're trying to do everything at the one time. And sometimes the best way of explaining things to women in terms of how to help is, right, go back to the boxes and deal with one box at a time. And that's a really good way of stopping overwhelm. And then obviously you can build up. So you start off with the essentials, the priority stuff that have to be done, and then gradually add one box at a time, if you like. So you're back dealing with all of the things that you have to deal with.
Such a vivid picture.
Yeah, it is, and it works. You know,
I totally understand, because just yesterday I was so overwhelmed in the evening, and I was talking to my boyfriend, and I was said, oh my gosh, I just don't know how to handle. I just so much stuff happening, and that and this and that and this, and he starts like, well, this part is that part, this part and that part, and why do you even think about it right now? It's not happening. I was like, yeah, but. And I was like, really, why do I think about it right now?
It's just the difference between how we think and how guys think.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to change, how we think, but slowly by working through different tips and things that I found work for me, and I think that's the big thing. I am my own business avatar because I have gone through all of the stuff that I teach, whether that be loneliness or whether that be the menopause. And you know, I know how hard it can be. When my daughter was going through puberty when I hit menopause, and it was like World War III had broken out, and neither of us really knew what was going on. We're opposite ends of the same thing, effectively, and it was nuts. And I'm always convinced that was why my husband took a job abroad. He denies it. He denies it. I'm pretty sure that was it. He just couldn't handle it. So yeah, it's difficult for us to change the way we are. but sometimes we have to, you know.
Yes, I feel there should be some strength underneath of how women think. There should be some, like box with a lot of energy, which we can use for our to make us stronger as people. But I think it comes through accepting that we are not a man, we are not. We have hormone related changes in every month. Basically, if you're premenopause, you have this, like as you said, puberty period when you're going through changes like hormonal changes. You have another big amount of hormonal changes when you go to menopause. So I don't think we should treat ourselves as men treat themselves. We're just different. So I personally trying to find the balance between getting something from men's world and adapting it to my world, because their world is not mine by any means.
It's not, but the one big thing that, apart from the way they think, but one big thing that men do as opposed to women is self-care. You know, men are really good at, they'll maybe go to the pub for a pint with their friends, or they'll go play football with their friends, or, they carve out times in the week, which is for them.
Mm-hmm.
And women are quite bad at that because they feel they need to be there to do all of the things that need to get done, instead of saying, do you know what, I'm going to go and lie in the bath and, with a glass of wine and read a book for the next hour, or whatever it is. We don't like taking that self-care. And if we did the self-care, we do ourselves absolutely a massive favor, because again, it just helps put things back into perspective. You don't need to do everything that needs to be done today. So instead of thinking about it, go and do a meditation, or go for a lovely walk outside if the sun's shining, or even go walk in the rain. It's liberating, So it's again about educating ourselves that it's okay to do something just for me.
Yes,
And
it's not
that's
easy.
the other thing that we need to learn to do, because we're not good at it.
It's not easy. It's not easy. So your, let's say average client, not average, but your normal client is a woman who usually above 40, who is going through some overwhelming situation, or
it's normally after some sort of change, like the kids going off to university, or elderly parents that they've looked after passing away, or just overwhelm. I deal with women who've had relationship problems, maybe after a 20-odd year of marriage, they suddenly find that it's over and they're on their own. So there's normally something that happens that acts as a catalyst that makes them think, do you know what, I can't keep doing this anymore.
by myself.
By myself, or I don't know what I'm doing, One of the questions I ask is, what's on your bucket list? And, a lot of women, once they go over 40, don't have one anymore.
Mm.
And if that's, if that's who the people are, who women are, then they need to start thinking about doing stuff for themselves. And if, a lot of it is women don't even know where to start. And that's where I come in. I can help. And I'm not, sometimes it's difficult talking to friends and stuff. And I don't mean difficult talking to them, but they get emotionally involved. They care about you, so they want the best for you. So they won't look at it any other way about from your point of view. So I am the objective one that can look at it, because I'm not involved. I can challenge it. I can make suggestions to change it. So yeah, if women out there have got something that could just be something that annoys them, but they don't know how to change it. Because, and I find women say this quite a lot, it's like, you know, he does something that really annoys me. And it's, well, tell him to change. And he's like, you know, no, I maybe say, why has he just started doing that? No, he's always done it. Well, why are you just thinking now it annoys you? Why didn't you challenge it at the time? Oh, it wasn't important. I had other things to do. But now they don't. I've had a woman who came to me during lockdown who had been in the same job for 23 years. And she discovered during the virus that she hates it. She absolutely hates her job. And I was like, why are you there? And it turns out she took the job when the kids were young, because it meant she could be there to take them to school. She could be there to pick them up from school. You know, she was about for sports days, all these kind of things. But actually now, when the kids are grown up and gone, not even home anymore. But she was on this hamster wheel, and it was only when it stopped and she was put in furlough that she suddenly realised, I hate it. I'll do something else. But then you get into, I'm too old, I don't know anything else, what else could I do? And again, that's stuff that I work through with women as well.
That's awesome. As I understand, you have different channels how women might find you. So you have social media channels such as Instagram, you mentioned.
Yep.
Do you have Facebook?
On Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And I have a website as well.
Oh, website. What is the website?
The website is www.thereignitedwoman.com, and it's all one word. And if you put in the Reignited Woman into a search box, then you'll find it. The website obviously gives a bit more background about what I do and how I do it. And on the social media channels, you'll get tips to how to overcome some of the issues that I deal with.
So how we can find you on Instagram and Facebook?
Instagram is _reignited_woman. Facebook is just the Reignited Woman. And LinkedIn is Joyce-Hardie, which LinkedIn's under.
What do you think the most convenient way to contact you for first consultation or ask questions?
Private messaging on any of the social media things. You can email me through my website, or you can email me direct at joyce@thereignitedwoman.com. And what I normally do would be arrange to go on a Zoom call with someone and just chat. Even where women say, oh, I don't know whether I want to do anything about this, that's fine. We jump on a call, we have a coffee, we have a chat, no obligation, and can see if we like each other, we can see if we work with each other. Or it could be that I answer your questions on the call and you don't need anything else.
Okay.
So yeah, my kettle's always on.
I think it's a beautiful way to put it. My kettle is always on.
Yep, never seen an opportunity for a cup of tea.
Thank you very much, Joyce. Dear followers, please follow Joyce Hardie and her amazing business, life coaching for women who is going through overwhelming situations, who just face menopause or any other situation which force them to think what I'm doing, am I happy, and how should I continue live my life. Thank you very much, Joyce, and it was a complete pleasure talking to you and have you as a guest on our series of interviews with Scottish entrepreneurs. I wish you the best luck with life coaching, and I hope women who are looking for help and support and some coffee or tea can always find you through your social media. And personally wish you the best health possible. I think it's the most important. And thank you very much for your time, and thank you for being a guest.
Okay, thanks for having me, Anna. It's been a privilege.
Thank you, Joyce. And when we will post the video, I will send you a link. We will share it through our social media, and we will be happy if some women will find a way to you for us.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.